welcome into another edition of the Big Dog Show with Marcedes Lewis. I'm David Kaplan. We'll talk to your dear friend, business partner, and one of the guys on the cutting edge of how you take care of your body. It's Dr. Jonathan Leary of Remedy Place. And so we'll talk to him in a moment. But first of all, 272 NFL games, more than any other tight end ever. And you were honored with the game ball. You spoke to the team. Your emotions as you look back on Sunday, a win and all that cool stuff for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously we were talking before, sometimes when you're just in the grind every day and you're just trying to be, your personal best every day, especially in this business, you don't really have time to get some air or come up for air, so to speak. And, to go out there on Sunday, to have a good team win against a solid team, obviously, McVay, who I have a lot of respect for over there. And as far as his approach to the game and how he gets his guys ready to play games, we knew it was going to be a tough one, especially after them taking care of business against the 49ers. So it was up to us to go out there, take on the challenge at home. We want to stay undefeated at home. We got that done last week, and to get the game ball meant a lot for me. One of my coaches came up to me. He was like, "Hey, man, I know you don't celebrate your victories much, but I just want you to know I know what this means. And I just want to say that I'm proud of you, and couldn't be, for a better person to have it. And for me, it's just every day, I just go in there and just try to do my job to the best of my ability, and I'll live with the results. Some days are going to be better than other days, but as long as mentally I'm always in the right place and my spirit is always in collaboration with my mental. And that's just a tribute to that. So I'm grateful.
So I'm watching the game, and obviously I've gotten to know you very well. And Bears have the ball at the 1. And first of all, during the week, Coach Waldron came out and said, yeah, our short yardage back is Khalil Herbert. And I'm like, no, he's not. It's Rashad Johnson, and it should be. And I look, and there's Roshan. And I go, oh, there's 84. There's my guy. Oh, there's Cole. Oh, there's Gerald. Oh, my God, that's Doug Kramer lined up at fullback. I'm like, where's this been? Bam, hit him in the mouth. And they called him the mini fridge, Doug Kramer, on the broadcast, like Refrigerator Perry, mini fridge. And boom, there goes Roshan into the end zone. I asked Coach Eberflus on Monday, I hosted his show, is that this week you put that in? He's like, no, we've had that in the trick bag. And I'm like, why didn't you use it? Your thoughts, because it looked like that play, here we come. Good luck stopping it.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just got to put your knuckles in the ground and just go get a yard or two, right? Like, it's okay to be cute and every now and then when you got a lead and you want to just get plays off the call sheet. But when you get down there in the goal line and you got the dudes to do it, in which we do, and we got the back to do it, why not? Just bring it out. Let's just not make this harder than it has to be,
right.
And take care of business and get 6 points. And it felt good to get that. I think up until that point, it was a little back and forth, just trying to figure each other out from a schematic standpoint. But you don't really need no scheme down there on the goal line. Let's just go punch it in.
Bam, punch him in the mouth. All right, let's bring your business partner and your dear friend, Dr. Jonathan Leary, in. You guys are involved in something that the doctor's been working on for a long, long time called Remedy Place. Dr. Leary, how are you today?
Amazing. How are you guys doing?
We're amazing. And as I've gotten to work with Marcedes and now become friends with him and had dinner with him, he raves about how he takes care of his body, and he raves about his relationship with you. So give everybody a little background on how you and he hooked up.
Amazing. I mean, we connected, I think, over social media. And when we got him into the club, he became a regular and then really became a friend. I mean, from just meeting him, he's a special energy.
Yep.
And he's a really powerful soul. And we just really aligned in our mission and purpose in life. And, even though our career paths are very different, it's crazy how in line we are together.
Yeah, man. I obviously, Jonathan is, he's definitely a fan of ours. I know Cap, we've talked about that at dinner a few times and what that means to me. And I'm pretty sure, Jonathan knows, what that means to me because we have, a lot of conversations about it. And Jonathan is somebody that I hold close, and I look at him as family. But like he was saying, yeah, I want to say it was either coming out of COVID or in the middle of COVID, the spot that I was going to recover most days closed down. And Remedy Place was one of the only spots that was still open. And I remember, kind of just browsing, looking to see, reading up on the club and what they had. And I was like, man, this is perfect. Like, it's literally one-stop shop. Like, I need to get in there. And so once I got there, cold tub, sauna, hyperbaric chamber, I did my whole little circuit. And I'm like, man, like, who's in charge of this? Like, who controls, who's controlling all of this? And, worked my way up the chain, sent the email to Jonathan, and then we connected that way. And, it's been rolling downhill ever since. Jonathan, I want you to, just for, obviously this is a different, my fans are different. Obviously your close group. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, but just give them kind of like the background as far as inspiration and what inspires you to pursue your career in medicine and health coaching.
Yeah, listen, I always wanted to be a doctor. Just when going through pre-med and going through those studies, working in a hospital setting and volunteering and shadowing, after 4 years, I quickly realized, I'm like, is this really the environment or the way that I want to take care of people? And, not only is it not an amazing experience for the patients there in a hospital setting, but the doctors are overworked, not taking care of themselves, away from family, stressed out. And it really just didn't align with me. So I ventured into alternative medicine with a focus on sports medicine because I just wanted to work with people that really, truly cared about their health and wanted to invest their time and energy into it. And I started working on the business plan for Remedy in 2012. And I just was like, all right, how am I reinventing how I would do my future clinic? And at first it was just a beautiful space with hospitality standards. So it was an enjoyable experience for my patients. And then when I graduated 4 years later, I had a 158-page binder as a business plan. And I went to the bank thinking I was going to get a business loan. And the woman laughed at me and she's like, sir, you have no money and all this student loan debt. How am I supposed to give you a loan? And I'm like, that's why I need a loan. Right. Quickly realized that's not how it worked. And I pivoted and I opened up a concierge practice. And it was a sports medicine practice with a focus on surgery prevention and chronic pain rehabilitation. And it was strictly concierge. And I had a couple big success stories in the beginning. And after 3 months, I had a wait list. But I realized, I'm like, why am I just working with athletes who are the healthiest bodies in the world when the average person is far more sick and a lot more pain? And although athletes need to perform on the field, I'm like, I need people to perform in life. And then I had that practice for 5 years, continually updating the business plan for Remedy. And I learned a couple things. I think those 5 years in practice taught me a lot. And what I updated was, whether you call it self-care, preventative care, longevity, it's all the same thing. People are sicker than they've ever been. Last year, the top 8 chronic conditions in the US reached an all-time high. So we have every breakthrough in medicine, surgery, technology, but it's saving lives, but it's not making people healthy. And the only way to make people healthy is if they take control over their life and have the tools to take care of themselves. And that's how I envision what self-care, very literal, is. The second part is human connection. I think in order to fix all the root causes of everyone's issues, they had to make lifestyle changes. And I heard the same thing over and over again for 5 years. Dr. Leary, I feel incredible. My symptoms are gone. My problems are gone. I'm pain-free. But now all these lifestyle changes are really affecting my social life and I'm really alone. Like I can't do anything fun, can't go out with friends. How am I supposed to date? How am I supposed to not go to these events and travel? And I remember just saying to myself, like, why is it that everything we do when we socialize works against our health? So that's when I knew that I needed to change the club from just a place to take care of yourself to a new way that people socialize. and really change the narrative of how people come together for a date, a meeting, a happy hour, all the way to an event.
And build like an experience in a community, so you don't necessarily feel alone, right? Like there's still, that's the duality of it, right? Like there's still people that are going to party, do their thing, right? Have their own group, but the ones that are really serious about their health, they want to feel like they have something to go to. And it's been amazing being a part of it, bro.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we're just getting started, and it's like really, it's cool that when your passion and like what you love and work so hard on is a success, but it's like, it's helping people. We're the first place in the world. We own the trademark Social Wellness Club. And last year, the Global Wellness Institute announced it as the #1 global trend in the world. And I was told, that's the most LA concept. That won't work anywhere except LA. And now we're opening cities all over. And I think the pandemic really helped like put the light switch on to people to really understand. And as alcohol consumption continues to go down, people need new experiences to socialize. And even if you want to go party, maybe you don't want to party every night. So it's like we meet anyone where they're at in life. And whether it's like fully sober and they are an athlete that is like fully focused on maximizing who they are,
Absolutely,
all the way to like, hey, I'm going to live my crazy life. I'm going to push the boundaries. I'm going to be traveling a lot, staying up late, and I just need help, and I think it's a really cool little niche to be in.
So there's only one man that has ever played 272 games in the National Football League at a violent position. I'm not talking about like a place kicker here. I'm talking about Marcedes. And I'm not ever going to play in the NFL. Love sports. It's my life. However, I also believe that if you develop a daily process that you can live by, I have an infrared sauna right outside my office here. And I do it every day, 30 minutes in the infrared sauna. I do cryotherapy. I get 10,000 steps every day. I do weight work 3 days a week. Like, I think I'm a great example of the average guy who I'm going to be 64 in a month. And I think you can go out and live a healthy lifestyle, have a hell of a lot of fun, but you can also take care of yourself. You just got to make intelligent choices, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just routine, right? Having the discipline to have routine turns into habits turn into change. And the goal of life is to continually grow and develop professionally, personally. Like, why not push the boundaries of your uniqueness to see what you can do in this world? And once you understand that you're in control and no one else is responsible for your health, your success, once you catch on, it's like, why wouldn't you do this?
Exactly. You bring up a really good point. I was having a conversation with one of my teammates, and obviously, like, I'm in the locker room, they're always trying to pick my brain about my recovery process and just the consistency of it. and I really broke it down into two things. You get older and you age, right? Getting older is going to happen.
Yeah.
Age, you have control over that and how that affects you as you get older, right? And your process and your recovery process and how you treat your body every day is going to attribute to how fast you age, right? Theoretically. And for me, I mean, 16 years ago, I started to kind of what recovery looked like to me, right? And every single year, I'm either adding or subtracting things that I don't need anymore, but adding new things because your body changes, right? And depending on your job, what you're being asked to do, like for me, what I'm being asked to do on the field, I may need a little bit more cold tub, or I may need the hyperbaric chamber, or I may need more cryo. Like it's really up to you, and it looks different for everybody. And I think just all of my choices from that point to now, from when I was just a young buck at 23, 24 years old to 40 years old right now, has gotten me to the point to where if I get a little banged up in a game, or I have a bruise from something, or I feel a little tired, my recovery process kind of like snaps me back faster than a normal person's would, who doesn't really necessarily have a hold on recovery, and I swear by it.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to be able to train your body to be able to adapt, right? And I think right now there's so much buzzword around like anti-aging. I don't believe in anti-aging. If we could truly reverse aging, we wouldn't die. The body can repair and recover. Like you have a cut, the body scabs over. You break a bone, it rebuilds bone. That doesn't mean we're anti-aging. So like I like to work with my patients to tell them, my goal is not to reverse aging, it's to actively age. I want you to look and feel better as you get older, and your body can become more resilient. Like the stressors and the demands and the things that we're doing over life, mentally and physically, teach our body how to adapt. And that's where things like cold therapy and heat therapy, we call it adaptation training. It's like we're training different systems. You know, people go to the gym and use resistance to get strong. We need to use resistance in every facet of our life to get strong.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's cool when you start thinking about it, because it's like people are like, stress is so bad. And I'm like, no, over stress is bad. Moderate stress is great for performance, great for memory. Using stress as a tool makes us strong. And I think that's an important thing to highlight.
Yeah,
So
no, I go ahead, Cap.
I was going to ask you. So again, Marcedes is literally in a million. Dudes don't do what this guy has done and perform at the level he's performed at for so long. So if somebody's listening to or watching the pod right now, they're watching the Big Dog Show and they said, God, I'm 57. I'm pulling a number out of thin air. I've got to start thinking about my long-term health. I want to start a process, a plan. What is the first step they should take?
Listen, I mean, there's so many ways, and it depends on who they are, what they have access to. I think the first question is like, how bad do you want to feel better, and what is your commitment level? You know, and like, are you doing it for you? Because if you're doing it for someone else, it's not the right.
It won't last.
Yeah, and I think if it's like, hey, from just simple, this month I'm gonna hydrate. This month I'm gonna get 10,000 steps a day. Like anything that they're willing to do, looking at everything in life is it enhancing me or is it holding me back? And I would rather have someone do something that they end up loving and enjoy as part of their routine and have it stick than do anything like a fad diet where they're like on and off, because that's not healthy either. But it's really simple. You know, one, movement cures. We need to move. If you're not moving, you're breaking down.
Yep.
And I think we know that, you know, like we know that within like, you know, geriatric patients, when they break their hip, like 90-something% of them die after a year because they stop moving. And I think that's obviously an extreme case, but if everyone just walked 10,000 steps a day, didn't even enter a gym and just walked, majority of our issues would go away. So I think movement's number one. Two, looking at anything that you ingest or put on your skin as either fueling disease or fighting disease. I always look at it as a trade-off, right? It's like, is this thing enhancing me or is it holding me back? You don't always need to be enhanced, right? It's good to test the system sometimes, and that's why we're training it. But we need to look at food. And if you look at the diet and the fake things we're putting, like the body only knows how to react to real things. The more things that are fake, processed, synthetic, chemical-based, all of these things we're putting in our body or on our skin, things like autoimmune conditions never existed in the past, because autoimmune is that our body's fighting itself. Why would the body fight itself? It's because there's things in it that shouldn't be in it. And I think we see all of these things happen. And it's like, oh, it's because your body's defending itself over and over again. So nutrition is key. I would say next, mental health is so big. And it's like, you know, we can talk about meditating and all these things, but it's really about mindset. We don't understand anywhere near the capacity of what a power of a word or a thought is. When you are confident in your words and your mindset and you have this optimistic approach, you know, I think Marcedes, like the reason why I think his key to success is that this man is so strong mentally, and that is so overlooked because we don't have a way of measuring that right now. But I think honestly, perception on anything and how we view it, how we talk about it, how we think about it is more powerful than we could ever imagine. And those are the bare minimums. If you do those things, majority of your health problems are gone.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And again, I mean, like even this conversation, there's so many different points throughout my day where I'm like, literally being a therapist for somebody else, like in a locker room where that's close to me. And part of one conversation I was having was like mentally being able to have a short-term memory on the field, whether it's a good play or a bad play. Either way, you got to move on, right? And part of it, like for me, is like the mental side of it is basically whether you experience victory or take a loss, you still have something to learn from it, right? And your mindset going into that, like we're not saying that you have to not, acknowledge that adversity exists. It's just your mindset going into it, understanding that, like, okay, adversity does lie there. How do we attack it now? Right? Like if you understood really how powerful your thoughts are, you wouldn't think a bad thought, right?
Yeah.
Like if you like truly understood like how powerful your presence is, you wouldn't just pop up just anywhere, right? And so it's just those little things that like if you can truly understand that, you'll just be better off. And like I personally don't feed myself negative thoughts. I'm not around people that are negative. If I feel negative energy, I remove myself. Like I've always been that way, regardless of who's at the party or who's at the function. Like if I don't feel it when I walk in, I'm okay being by myself and being at home in my vortex, knowing that it's positivity and powerful, and I'll go to the next one if I have to.
Yeah, spot on. I think one thing that you hinted on that is really important to know for mental health, it's not to ignore all emotions and feelings. You should feel all emotions and not suppress them, but it's allow it to feel and then move on.
Yes.
And that's really important. Instead of holding on, like we all have trauma, we all have things happen to us. And I think a lot of problem with a lot of the therapy out there is a thing called rumination. Like if you're overthinking your problems over and over again, you're actually making the problem worse.
Yeah.
So it's like feel what happened to you, control your actions because you can't control anyone else's, and move on and use it as a tool to learn from. Because once again, things that happen can make us strong, and those challenges and those hurdles are truly what are training our minds and our bodies and our systems to be stronger inevitably.
And that's just it. It's the training, right? It's just like anything, right? You need to have a certain type of callus to do anything. Like, and that training is the hard part. And for people to actually get started on it is where like is where the hard part is. And I think it's just the education of it really, and just getting it out there so people understand it. Like, yo, you can get better. Like this is attainable if you truly lock in and remove yourself from things that don't serve you in a way that you want to be.
And be like, if you want to grow and you want to continually grow, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because every single new or higher level of you is going to require a new you, and each barrier is uncomfortable. And I think when you find joy in that, and you just understand, no matter, I don't say the word stress, I call it just resistance. No matter how much resistance there are, all that resistance is just making you stronger. So when I have anyone talk about stress, I'm just like, no, you just say, this week's been full of resistance, but it's making me stronger. And once again, that's programming the mind to use the power of those words to manifest something that is positive.
Sauna use versus like the one that's 200 degrees where you pour water on the rocks versus infrared.
Yeah.
I've read so much about this. I'm an infrared guy, but that's 140 degrees. Hot enough for me. What is your informed perspective?
Yeah, listen, I mean, they're both heat modalities, but what's important to note is it's not that one's better than the other. They're two different experiences. And the goal, or what most research shows, is research with saunas are always highlighted around the heat shock protein. The heat shock protein is activated over 160 degrees. That's where a majority of the research for cardiovascular health and longevity are centered around. However, using heat to heat from the outside is different than using infrared. It's a light that's penetrating into your body, heat from the inside out. And what's really important to know is, like you said, like an infrared sauna usually taps out at 150 degrees. In Remedy, we've been able to push ours to 170. So we can actually get the benefits of infrared while activating the heat shock protein, which I find most beneficial. But now what we're releasing in Soho, or one of our newest clubs, is the first sauna that you can do infrared, traditional, or both at the same time. And I think that advancements are going to be ever growing with all this technology. But I don't think one's better than the other, right? They have different purposes and different benefits, and then they have similar benefits. But depends on your goals and whatever you like. If that's your mindset that you like infrared, great, stick with it, put in your routine. But then also challenge your system some days and go for the extra hot saunas just to see how you hold up. And if you ever feel like you're adapting or getting too good at any of these self-care things like a sauna,
change it up.
Yeah, I think I have, I guess over the years, right? Like infrareds, like when I was younger, infrared wasn't really a thing, right? And so it's, I have my sauna. I'm not really a steam room guy. I like the dry sauna. I like to see my sweat bead off and know that it's coming up off of me, and then I can just kind of like, restart the process.
How about cryo?
Say that again.
How about cryo for you?
I love cryo. I love cryo, but I'm a cold tub guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I love the sauna, but I'm truly an infrared guy. Right. So it's really preference. You're gonna get similar benefits. But I swear by the cold tub, I'll be in a cold tub until my casket drops. Listen, there's a reason why I'm still doing my job and competing against guys at the highest level for a reason. Mm-hmm. And I would put my recovery and my process up to anybody else's in any professional sport. I truly believe that. I truly believe in my process, and this is why it's a part of my life. Like my body craves recovery, right? So like after a football practice, or it could be just after a long day. Say we go to an amusement park and I'm just walking around. I need to get in the cold tub, right? Like I'm literally thinking about that in my mind while I'm like out on my feet. Like we could be shopping or at the grocery store, and I'm just like, I'll probably hop in the cold tub when I get home. Like I just need it at this point, and I'm just grateful I understand the education of it. Obviously, Jonathan takes it to a different level, and that's been very helpful as far as my education of it. And it's only going to get better. It's like people will start figuring it out even more than what they are now. But I swear by it.
Love that.
Jonathan, thank you for taking time for us. In terms of, I wanted to ask you this before we let you go, in terms of dealing with a guy like Marcedes, who not only has performed at the highest level, but has taken getting his body and taking care of it to be doing this at age 40. That's an example you can hold up to people everywhere, right?
100%. It shows you what discipline, positive mindset, and hard work, how it pays off. I mean, he's a prime example of exactly what a human body can do when given the right tools and has the mental focus. And it's so cool to watch and see him break all these records. And, this man I look up to him because he's so mentally strong, and just anyone that gets to interact with him as a human just understand genuinely how like deep-hearted and like deep this man is. And it's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he's an amazing soul. I've told people that. And when I called him to do this show, that dude's different. There's something special about him. Yeah, there is. It's a fact.
Hey, Jonathan, man. I appreciate you, man. I know you're busy. I'm glad that you take a little time away just to chop it up a little bit. But I'll definitely hit you on later this week. Appreciate you joining us, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really appreciate you guys.
No
All the
doubt,
best
bro.
to you, Doc. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
There
man.
he is, Dr. Jonathan Leary. So let's talk a little bit of football, you and me, big dog. You got to 2-2, and now the Carolina Panthers come rolling in. And I was listening to NFL Network today, like, I don't know, Chicago could have a letdown spot here. And I'm like, not with the veteran dudes that are in that locker room. No. So
Yeah.
you feel good about going into this game?
Yeah. I mean, to be frank with you, man, like we have the guys in the locker room to feel good about going into any game, right? It's just about how we approach the week, take it play by play, day by day, and just handle our business, right? Like it sounds simple, but it's one of those things that like sometimes you need to buzz the tower to make sure everybody in the locker room are on the same page.
Yep.
But I feel good about the challenge. I think the Panthers are better than what people give them credit for on film. I think they have a stout front seven. The back end is really good with some young guys that get after it, ball hawks. So it's not just going to be a game where, like a throwaway. We understand the challenge coming in as Soldier, but we also understand that it's about us, and it's always going to be about us. We have, like you said, the leadership. We have dudes that have done it, for a long time at a very high level. So it's going to be important just to lean on those guys, continuing to get better every week. We have to be 5 weeks better than what we were in week one and do our job to the best of our ability, continue to bring Caleb along. And then the defense continue to do what they do. And special teams, it's really up to us, man. And that's something that I'm going to continue to say and keep driving home because that's really what it's about. We have the guys to be special and to do something special. And, here we are with another challenge this week, looking to go 1-0 again. And, I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah, I was quoting you today on my radio show. Somebody called in, oh, God, we got to win this game. And then we get Jacksonville. I'm like, slow down. You can be 1-0 this week. That's all we can take care of. Can't change the Colts game. Can't look to Jacksonville or your vacation at the bye or the division game. Be 1-0 this week. And so it looked to me, you guys last week when you had DJ Moore on, DeAndre Swift, man, he had a hell of a game. And then when Tevin went out, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And I thought the offensive line got better.
Yeah, and again, this is the NFL, right? Next man up. Things are going to happen.
Yep.
And you're on a roster for a reason. That's to not have any drop off, whether you're a starter or a backup. Like we're all doing the same things in practice. So why should there be drop off, right? Yeah, you're not the number one guy, but when you're in there now, you become the number one guy. So do what you've been coached to do and what you practice to do. Like we're not asking you to step into the game and then now you have to change what you've done. Like this is who you are. And I felt like Nate came in, did a really good job. Obviously, the O-line, it's a work in progress. We're going to be getting better every game, and that's really what it's all about. And that's all you can ask. Like alluding to what you said before, we have to stay present, right? This is week 5. We're trying to go 1-0 this week. We can't play the Panthers and the Jaguars in the same day, right? So we have to handle our business and take care of it so that when we fly out there to London, we're feeling good about ourselves. We're 2 wins in a row and we can go handle business. But for now, we have the Carolina Panthers coming in and we got to take care of business. And that's the message in the locker room. And that's what I'll be driving home 6 days until it's time to play.
Last thing, I thought it was Caleb's best game. Not his most number of passing yards. I thought it was his best game. I thought the throw when I watched the All-22 today, the throw from the behind the quarterback to look, the throw to DJ for the touchdown, I mean, he had that much space. It was a hell of a catch. It was a hell of a job to get his feet down, but that throw was a dart. And then the one to Cole Kmet over the middle, over the linebacker with velocity. Great catch, great throw. I thought it was his best game as a pro so far.
I agree. And that's who Caleb is, and that's who he's gonna be. Like, that's all he does is throw dots, right? It's just about continuing to like understand the game from a different standpoint, and the learning curve, and understanding that learning curve is just continuously getting better. Like, it didn't surprise me. He does it in practice every single day. Obviously, like you said, from the view from behind the quarterback and him throwing that ball, it doesn't look open, but that's where trust comes in, right? DJ is a dude. He's gonna make that play every single time. It's just about making sure that we're putting our guys in positions to make plays and allowing, the playmakers to go ahead and do what they have to do. And, Caleb, it just didn't surprise me. Like, that's just who he is. So definitely his best game so far, looking to make a big jump going into week 5. And I'm excited to get in there and see what the game plan is going to be tomorrow morning. So I'm sure we'll text or we'll talk about it, but I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, man, have a great rest of your day. A lot of fun talking to Dr. Leary, and we'll talk soon.
I appreciate you, brother. Have a good day.
All right, that is the Big Dog Show with Marcedes Lewis, brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers and Ankin Law, 3126 million for the great Howard Ankin. For Marcedes, I'm Cap. Take that.
Give me a shot and I swear I shoot like Berettas. Yeah. They getting nervous, I seen it. What I seen.